Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. If you were to tell me before 2017 that a Rabbids game would be on my list of top 10 games of the year, I would have thought you were crazy. Rabid even. Okay, that was dumb. Rabbids and Mario crossing over in a turn-based strategy game was one of the most brilliant decisions made, while also being the most baffling. How do you make this combination work as well as it does? When Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle was first revealed, it was both confusing and exciting. Now, 5 years later, and the sequel to Kingdom Battle is out with a bigger world and a grander scale. So the question is, does Sparks of Hope stand toe-to-toe with its predecessor? No, actually, it surpasses it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Actually, before we quote-unquote get into it, let me preface this video by saying that it was originally going to be a full-on review, with a number score and everything like that. However, there is this game-breaking bug at the end of the game when you're fighting the final boss, which, I mean, it's pretty obvious what the final boss is going to be, but there is this weird bug that actually straight up crashes the Switch after the first phase of the boss. I don't even know if there is a second phase of the boss because I can't even get past the first one. And it didn't just happen to me once either. It happened twice, and I'm not gonna go and try again because I don't want to go through all that just for it to not work. So yeah, I'm not gonna actually give it a proper number score, but I still want to talk about this game because even with that bug at the end, I mean, yeah, it does suck, and I would rather not have a game-breaking bug like that so I can actually finish the game. But I still think this game is worth talking about, and it's one of my favorite games of the year, despite, again, not being able to actually finish the game, because the rest of the adventure was actually really great. The gameplay as a whole is a huge step up from the original. While there are some exceptions that we'll get into, most of the new mechanics are a huge plus. No longer are you tied to this grid system. I mean, the grid system is there, don't get me wrong, but it feels a bit more freeing. You can run around and see which angle it's good to hit an enemy, or, you know, really set yourself up for success. It also makes it seem like it's more real-time than it actually is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still turn-based, but it makes it more active, I guess. It's very strange how that little of a change would make a huge difference, but it kind of does. It makes it like a huge evolution of the previous game system, even though it's actually not really that different. Instead of getting new weapons with special attachments to them, you know, to change up how the weapon works, instead you have sparks that kind of take the place. You have sparks that can freeze people, you have sparks that can push people away, and you also have sparks that can revive people, heal people, and just cause all sorts of mayhem. You will eventually get 2 sparks for each teammate, and I love it. You can mix and match all these different variations to make the best combinations. For example, I love giving Luigi the power to go invisible because I like to use him as my sniper, so I don't want anyone to really detect him. I want him to sneak back and really get a powerful shot on the enemies. And then for someone that has multiple dash moves, like Edge, the new Rabbids character, I like to give her or someone else who has multiple dashes the ability to dash and have serious damage. Speaking of Edge though, she's a great addition. Yeah, I'm not really into the whole Rabbids part of Mario plus Rabbids games. However, I am okay with them introducing original characters. I think it just makes sense. And Edge is basically Cloud, so I give her a pass. The roster is mostly returning characters, except for 2 new ones like Edge and, of course, Bowser. I'm not much into heavyweights in games. I normally like a speedier character in my roster, but Bowser is pretty fun. He has some interesting moves, and he has these little minion robots that explode on impact. It's just really nice to have Bowser in the party, even though they took out Yoshi and replaced him with Bowser, which I find very strange. The way you can interact with the environment and enemies is also a little bit different. Like, for example, you can slide into bombs, which are newly introduced, and you can throw them to a group of enemies and have them explode. Also, I really like that they're introducing actual Mario enemies into this game. I don't know if there are actually Mario enemies in the last game. I can't actually remember. But here you get quite a bit of them. I would have loved more, of course. But you get characters like Goombas, Bob-ombs, Thwomps, kind of. And even Kamek is in the game, which, holy crap, I have a new fear of Kamek now. My favorite world is probably the fall-themed world. It's just so pretty and the music is gorgeous, which we'll talk about the music here in a bit, but wow, it's just, oh, I love the music. But the level design in these worlds are not linear like it was in Kingdom Battle. Instead, they go for a open zone, if you will. Okay, maybe open zone's a bit too much, but it's a bit more open. Yeah, there is some linearity when you go into some sections, but for the most part, until the game tells you not to, you can go off the beaten path in some of these sections. This new layout is fantastic. I love this new change. Especially because they're introducing side quests. They might have had side quests in the first game, I can't remember. But here, it's in full force. And while the side quests aren't really interesting by any means, it does bring a lot of content to this game. Sometimes you may feel a little underleveled, and that's okay because you can just knock out some side quests and get leveled up. Like in the previous game, Kingdom Battle, puzzles also make a return. They are pretty simple in this game, and honestly, I see them as a bigger improvement than one might think. Yeah, they're still simple. I mean, some of them actually can be pretty difficult. I had a guess on one of them in particular. But for the most part, they're pretty simple, but not in a bad way. Just in a way where you're like, oh, I know how to do this, and you just do it. It's nice to have these puzzles in there to break the pace. But I wouldn't call them amazing or anything. Also, I don't really want to get into the story because the story is as simple as it gets, but I really do enjoy the new Rabbids introduced. While they're not completely memorable, I do love their designs. I think their designs are more memorable than what they actually say, even though the writing in this game is really comical. It's just pretty good dialogue. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can roll your eyes at what they say, and sometimes it's just funny hearing Mario characters talk like that. Or heck, even Rabbid characters talking like that. The animation for these characters is also so good. I think Ubisoft does a great job with its animations. These animations are fantastic. They really show off the characters without them having to talk or anything like that. Not that the characters talking is bothersome or anything, because in fact, they do actually have voices, or at least the Rabbids have actual dialogue. Not full-on sentences, thankfully, but they do talk a little bit, especially in combat. For the most part, I actually kind of like it. I kind of wanted to hear more from them, to be honest. Especially Rabbid Mario. He is amazing. He has this like Brooklyn accent, and oh man, he's incredible. I love him. I wanted to hear more from him. He just had this wise guy persona, you know? The other characters were kind of what you expected. I think the biggest shock when it came to character dialogue and voice acting was actually Beepo. Beepo was a little different than I was expecting. Not bad by any means. Just, I was expecting a higher pitched voice for some reason, but again, not bad. And Beepo and the new AI companion have full-on sentences. All their dialogue, for the most part, is all voice acted. And I kind of appreciate that after hearing nothing but like grunts and stuff from the previous game. Here, the grunts and stuff are still there, but they're a little less so. The soundtrack is simply excellent. There's no other way to describe it. You have not one, but 3 fantastic composers behind this game. First up, you have Grant Kirkhope. He was the composer for the first game, and he's the composer for the Banjo-Kazooie series. Then you have the legendary Yoko Shimomura, who of course composed for the Kingdom Hearts series. And while I've only played a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 1, wow, is the music just amazing. And it's incredible here too. You can definitely tell that she was behind some of the tracks in this game. And last, you have Gareth Coker, the composer behind Halo Infinite and the Ori series, like Ori Will the Wisp and Ori and the Blind Forest. Each of these composers have a huge reputation behind them, and they are just excellent here. It's so crazy to me that they're all working together, essentially. I mean, maybe not working together to make the music, but I mean, they're working on each piece, for this one game, and it's just crazy to have these legendary composers work together in some way. Overall, yeah, I like this game. I think it does everything a sequel needs to. You have improvements to the combat. They somehow made it feel fresh while also staying the same core combat system. You make the world bigger and more fun to explore, which is definitely the case here. It's really fun to go around and kind of explore these places. Find collectibles, level up your teammates, participate in these battles or secret areas. It's all just so fun. I also appreciate the weapon skins that you can get and how, you can have the same weapon but change it up a little bit. I kind of wish there's more of these skins, to be honest with you, but either way, I enjoyed the inclusion. Yeah, man, this is an amazing game. I love this game. Despite that bug at the end that crashes the game and it kind of makes me mad just thinking about it, but even with that, I still really enjoyed this game. And if you are somewhat interested in this series and maybe you're holding off because of the holiday season, how it can get so crazy, you know what? That's fair. I mean, games like this developed by Ubisoft, they do go on sale, so I understand waiting to have this go on sale. I do. But this game is worth every penny of the $60 purchase. It is such a fun time. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below about Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Have you tried out the game? Have you played it? Tell me what you're thinking. And I'll see y'all next time. God bless.